Business 504, Unit 3. This lecture will discuss key terms and landmark court cases discussed in chapters 12 through 14 of your reading. Similar to the Unit 1 lecture, this is an interactive lecture. This means that you will be asked to answer several questions during this lecture. It will be very helpful for you to complete the assigned readings prior to viewing this lecture. The first few cases we will look at deal with informed consent. Informed consent is a legal concept that provides that a patient has a right to know the potential risks, benefits, and alternatives of a proposed medical procedure. There are two types of consent. Express can take the form of either a verbal agreement or it can be accomplished through the execution of a written document. Implied consent is determined by some act of silence, which raises a presumption that consent has been authorized. Informed consent is predicated on the duty of the physician to disclose to the patient sufficient information to enable the patient to evaluate a proposed medical procedure before submitting to it. This doctrine is also referred to as vicarious liability, whereby an employer is answerable for the torts committed by the employees. The following elements must exist in order for liability to be imputed to an employer. A master-servant relationship and the wrongful act of the employee must have occurred within the scope of the employee's employment, as discussed in Unit 2. The first case we will look at is the matter of Hughes. In this case, the patient signed a standard blank hospital form entitled Refusal to Permit Blood Transfusion. There was no indication on the form that the consequences of her refusal had been explained to her. The form should fully release a physician, all medical personnel, and the hospital from liability should complications arise from the failure to administer blood, thereby resolving any doubt as to the physician's responsibility to his or her patient. Note, the court emphasized that this case arose in the context of elective surgery. This was not an emergency situation where the physician and patient did not have time to discuss fully the potential risks, benefits, and alternatives of the planned surgery, and the conflict arising over the patient's religious beliefs. Question to answer. What actions could the parties to this lawsuit have taken beforehand to prevent this case from becoming a legal issue?